All right, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of SideQuest Podcast. Listen in and level up. I have a great episode for you today, but first, as always, let's get through the show notes. If you're not following the Facebook page, head over to Facebook, type SideQuest Fitness into the search bar, and like the page. There, you're going to get updates on podcast episodes, articles when they get posted, and you're going to get a brand new taco recipe every Tuesday for Taco Camp. Plus lots of other shenanigans and nerd talk throughout the week, so make sure you head over to Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is SideQuestFM. If you want to see some cool videos and random stuff on Instagram as well, you can follow me on Instagram. Same handle, SideQuestFM. Or follow me on Snapchat, SideQuestFit. Follow me there. Send me your questions. I want to get all the questions from you, help you as much as I can on your fitness journey or your journey in life, whatever it may be. But head over to Snapchat, SideQuestFit. Follow me there. You get a little more personal, in-depth look at the shenanigans I get into throughout every day. But I do love getting questions from the community, so please send them out to me. If you have not left a review for the podcast, please head over to iTunes. If you're not listening on iTunes and you're listening on SoundCloud or Stitcher, leave a review there as well. When you leave reviews, it helps me move up the charts on the iTunes store so that more people can see and hear the amazing guests that I've had on and have on each and every single week. So make sure you head over there. And don't forget, if you haven't picked up your copy of the 7 Principles of Fat Loss, head over to sidequestfitness.com/7 principles, and you can pick up your copy of the 7 Principles of Fat Loss. These are the same 7 principles I follow each and every day and teach my clients to help them shred away more body fat, unlock heroic strength, and just look better naked. So if you want to unlock strength or just look better naked in the mirror, head over again, grab those 7 principles of fat loss, and start following those today. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. So over the last few months, you have heard me talking about my online clients, and you've heard from a few of my online clients as well about what they've done on their fitness quest with me. With summer heading in, I am taking a few more clients on to help people get ready for summer, help you get ready for bikini season or swimsuit season, or maybe this is your first time. Maybe you've decided that that's it. You want to get in shape, and you need someone to help you with your journey. On your journey, you need a Gandalf and a Samwise to guide you as you head into Frodo. And I am your Gandalf and Samwise, all packed in to one. I am taking on a few more clients. If you are interested, head over to sidequestfitness.com/coach and check out the page. You can apply there. You can find out more about what coaching entails and also see some of the amazing transformations that my clients have had while working with me. So head over to sidequestfitness.com/coach and apply today. Boom! Welcome to the show. Got a great episode for you today. My good friend, the one and only Alex Mullan, comes back on the show, and we're going to dive into what he learned during his first off season for prepping for his next bodybuilding show. He spent some time in Greece, so we're going to talk a little bit about that as well and what he learned while being away from Canada. And then we're going to hop into an awesome DLC episode that's all about coffee. So I'm going to shut up. Let's get into it.
Step up and you gotta get it fitness. Host Rob at the moment and the quest is you gotta check it and wreck it. You're breaking personal records, and with the help of the guests you won't be guessing on the lessons. That's a +5 fierce. Got a low-key bamf right here. You wanna meet him, there's no better way to greet him than to strike a boss pose. Take a look into the mirror.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. I'm back. The man himself, Quadsosaurus, as I like to call him. And he will probably make your Quadsosaurus if you ever train with him. But he absconded away from Canada after his first bodybuilding show and got to hang out in Greece for a little while and tour around Europe. And I'm glad to get him back on the show, but the one and the only Alex Mullan. Alex, welcome back.
Thank you, man. It is awesome to be here. Had a great time the first time we did this, and looking forward to this time around.
How was Greece?
Greece was incredible. I don't know. I'm pretty big on like familial ties and culture and everything. And my whole dad's side of my family is from Greece. So for me to go there and not only meet my family there, but spend time kind of absorbing the culture and totally stepping away from North American way of living was really eye-opening to me. And it was just an awesome experience.
You know, there's and this is just, you know, news things you hear about Greece being fairly struggling. One of the most struggling European nations. Was there a big culture shock for you? Was there anything different? Like, is that assumption pretty true, or do we just not have any idea of what's going on?
That country is a fucking disaster zone. It is not in good shape. There is so much corruption and financial issues there. It's ridiculous. I think they are working on the details of what's now their 4th bailout package since shit started to blow up in like 2006 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's been, I don't know how many billions of dollars it's been, but it's been a ton of money and nobody knows where it's gone and nothing has changed. And like, it all started with people there don't pay their taxes, or they pay very little, or they do what they can to pay even less. So there's no money for infrastructure, and like the streets are falling apart, garbage everywhere, and people don't have jobs because there's no money. Like people don't have money to spend, so there's no jobs available, and it's just a mess. It's kind of, I got asked a lot why I was there and why I was staying for 3 months because they couldn't comprehend why I would want to go there.
What was your answer?
Your economic situation literally does not affect me, and I have family here, and I've always wanted to come here.
And I mean, if it's cheap, why not, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was able to save a bunch of money there, even though getting the euro is pretty shitty. It's like $1 Canadian to $1.50 euro, but the cost of goods over there is next to nothing. Yeah. Especially if you go to the local markets and stuff. I was able to get like veggies for 10 days if I wanted for like $25, like all fresh, straight out of the gardens. It was great.
Damn.
There was some of the best red wine I've ever had. We bought they were 2-liter bottles and they were comparable taste wise to what I've paid $25-30 for in Canada. And it was €3 a bottle.
Oof. That's cheap.
It was dangerous.
Well, I mean, and you were over there training. You were getting ready for your second bodybuilding show. How different is like fitness or gym culture in Greece?
So from what I experienced of the gym culture there, it was, if you take the whole like gym bro stereotype, it was almost entirely that.
So like gyms full of Dom Bizzettis.
Basically, except even less jacked.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I trained at 3 different gyms while I was there, and 2 of them were pretty good. Nobody that really takes it seriously, I guess is a good way to put it.
So just a lot of fuck around-itis.
They go there to get like a chest and arm pump and never train legs. And off they go to whatever the club of the day is that day.
Okay. All right. Did you get in any of the club life, or were you entrepreneur just grinding your face off?
I was entrepreneur grinding my face off. I went there to, my 3 intentions of going to Greece were to dig through some personal shit, absolutely crush my off season, and work as much as I could on my business. Nice.
Where were you in Greece?
I spent the first month in a town called Ioannina, which is it's up near the mountains, northwest of Greece, kind of is near the Albanian border.
Okay.
It's like gorgeous countryside up there. And then the remaining 2 months I was in the heart of Athens.
All right. Favorite place you got to travel to? Did you do a lot of traveling? Because, you know, we entrepreneurial types who online fitness gurus or whatever you want to call us, we tend to just enjoy working all the time. Did you get to at least take any off time and see things?
Once I got to Athens, I did not leave Athens, partially because of the time of year I was there. Like, all the islands were pretty much ghost towns, and that was where I wanted to go. And every local I talked to said, like, don't waste your time. There's no one there. The weather's shitty. Like, just don't go. So I stuck around Athens, which was fine because, for one, Athens is a massive city. Like, I didn't even see a fifth of it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And there's so much cultural and historical stuff to see there that, like, you could spend months. You could probably spend a year living in Athens and never leave and find something new every week. There's just so much there.
All right.
So I kind of made an effort on Sundays to only work for a couple hours and then just go wander around and see what I could find.
All right. So your off season, what's that training look like? What's it been like? I mean, this is like your first your first real true off season as a bodybuilder?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. What does that look like? How's it different than what you've done in the past?
Given that it was, I mean, I went through it with the intention of, I knew that I was competing again this year, and I knew that I needed to add more size, and I wanted to do better than I did last year. So on some level, it's kind of like still being in prep. The only difference being that I'm eating more food and doing less cardio than I would be when dieting down.
Okay. All right. How have you changed? How did Greece change you as a business owner, or just as a person? Like, what did you learn while you were there?
Fuck. That's like, this is a long conversation in a whale's vagina in and of itself.
San Diego. Scholars believe it means a whale's vagina. Oh, no, I think it means Saint Diego. No, actually, believe the meaning is lost long ago.
I really want to watch that movie while we're there.
We totally should. Do you know how hard it is for me sometimes when I do like a video on Instagram or Facebook, or even in an article? I really just want to be like, ladies and gentlemen, I have an important and urgent announcement, and I need you all to pay very close attention. Like, it's hard for me not to do that in almost everything just because it's so good.
I think you should do that. I just wanted to yell from the top of a mountain, but I didn't have a mountain. I had a newsroom and a microphone.
We need a little more diversity. What's that? I think it's an old wooden ship. No, Ron, I doubt the diversity. Man, I wish I still had the there was a special edition that came out when they first released the movie, and it was the way the original movie was shot, called Wake Up Ron Burgundy.
Oh, really?
You can probably find it on YouTube. I guarantee you can find it online. And it's a completely different story. Like, the story that they originally shot was, there's like these weird, like, hippie terrorists that are trying to, like, take the city hostage, and Ron has to, like, save the city. And then he goes on, like, this, like, I don't, like, they go on this weird thing trying to find them, and he yells at an old guy, like, because he does a segment called "Rip the Lid Off of It," and it's just him yelling into the microphone, like, "We're going here, and we're gonna rip the lid off of it," and it's just like random shit that, like, they originally shot it, and the test audience didn't like it, so they had to go back and reshoot half the movie.
I mean, that sounds like it's worth watching once, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
Yeah. The sequel made me want to. I can't get that time back. Cannot get that 30 minutes of my life back.
No, it was simply horrendous.
Yeah. I just no. Cool. So what are you up to? What are you up to now? You're back in Canada.
I'm back in the Great White North of Canada temporarily. I haven't actually really told anyone this yet, but I am shipping off to Thailand for 3 months.
What?
In
Nice.
Like 2.5 weeks, actually.
Nice. Why Thailand?
Well, for one, like I kind of, once more, I am fed up with Canada. And I have a very strong love-hate relationship with Canada, and I'm hating it again and ready to go.
All right.
So, yeah, heading off to Thailand. I've known pretty much since I wrapped up my last prep that I wanted to do this one somewhere cool, somewhere. I wanted it to be more than just prep. I wanted to have a bit of an experience with it as well. And initially, I was going to move to Columbus, Ohio, to do it out of the Elite FTS gym.
Okay.
Which would have been so fucking cool. But logistically, it didn't make much sense, both from financial standpoint and from, just like, it's a lot easier. It's easier to go to Thailand and live around the corner from a gym than it is to go to Columbus, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then Thailand, it's super affordable, as everybody knows. The weather will be perfect for life itself. And everyone over there eats chicken and rice. So well, I'll fit right in. Slavan
Blanco was on the show once, and he talked about how cheap, and amazed him how traveling. He was like, I could eat for 3 meals for $5. Like, Thailand is just, it's very, very cheap, very big portions, for what you're paying.
Exactly. And it's just like, I've always wanted to be able to prove that, like, you can do shit like bodybuild or start a business and build a business while being off, like, exploring or doing other things that you enjoy at the same time.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always kind of been drawn to traveling, and typically typically bodybuilding and travel don't go hand in hand. Like, right. One is very unstable. One requires a fair amount of stability to make the most of it. And I'm stubborn enough and unreasonable enough sometimes to try and prove that wrong.
Is it proving the naysayers wrong, or is it proving yourself right? Or yourself wrong? I mean, are there doubts in yourself that you're like, no, I gotta see if I can really do this?
Honestly, that's a good question. And I think it's probably a bit of both, but it's not so much proving people wrong as kind of leading by example and showing that you can do this, right, if you're willing to put in the work for it.
Yeah. And I just, like, asking that, I was thinking about, our clients. Like, we have clients come to us and they ask us these things, and we know you can do it, but there's a part of us sort of being entrepreneurs online. We're kind of half proving other people wrong that you can do it, but almost proving your own doubts wrong and being like, no, I'm going to show you, self, that I can do this.
Exactly. And another part of it is it's helped me empathize better with clients, because if I didn't go off traveling, I would, like, quite happily sit at home all day and work and train. And, like, there's literally nothing, there's no good reason for me to, like, fuck up my diet or not train.
Right.
But when you go off traveling and you have, who knows what's going to happen, it's easier to relate to clients who have hectic lives.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one thing working from home, being in an office, there's all that you can do. And, the biggest thing that, like, you can't learn if you don't experience.
Exactly.
You can read and write all day, but, the best writing and the best writers went out and experienced and had, things happen to them. Hence why me and some people are driving cross country to San Diego, because, why not? Adventure. And
who are you driving with?
Me and Adam Ali and Nick Sorrell and Tanner Bays are gonna hit I-20 in Atlanta and head to El Paso and then up I-10 or whatever it is that takes you into San Diego. So Adam gets to see America, and by America I mean West Texas.
That is America. I hope you guys don't get hit by a tornado or whatever again.
You see, that's the thing, is we're like, what could happen? I have no idea. Who knows?
That's half the fun.
Yeah, it is. It's half the fun. We're actually going to pass, like, 20 or 30 minutes outside of Tombstone, Arizona. And I'm like, guys, we have to go to Tombstone. And somebody was like, what's Tombstone? I'm like, motherfucker, are you kidding me? You don't know what Tombstone is? What?
This is why we're going.
This is why we have to go. We have to go to Tombstone. Yeah, it's interesting, like, how much of the world, you know, like, my wife and I traveled more than probably my parents ever did. So I would say a lot to my parents. But it's amazing how beautiful, and I'm sure it's the same thing in Canada, like people who probably just have lived in Quebec or Toronto their entire lives are like, oh, God, I hate Canada. But if you drive across the country, same thing with America, it's pretty freaking amazing.
Dude, I actually live in like one of the most beautiful parts of Canada. Like there's everything you could come to Canada for is within about a 30-minute drive tops. And of course I don't truly appreciate it because it's always been there for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite stunning.
Can we talk about that real quick? Because that's an interesting thing that I think we can hop on. Not appreciating the things that have sort of always been there for us. Because I know that's something that...
Dude, I think we even talked about this last time I was on.
Maybe?
Because it's something that I've always kind of struggled with.
Well, it's like... there's a lot of people in the world that we're in that talk about gratitude and being, grateful for the things that you have. And one thing I try to, tell through emails and in the podcast and articles is that, the first 30 minutes of your day is crucial. Waking up, doing something that provides value to you, the first 30 minutes is going to set the rest of the tone for your day. But even in that time, it gives you a chance to like think about the things you're grateful for. Like, oh my God, I actually woke up this morning and my lungs work. I still have 2 of them. Look, I, can still see out of both eyes. And like our health is something that like, working where I work at the YMCA, you see a very diverse group of people. And it's just very interesting how there are some people there that, when you talk to them, they're like, yeah, I can't move like I used to. I can't do this. I didn't think about this. It didn't dawn on me until like the doctor told me I had to do this, that like, oh, I've really messed my life up. I didn't think about it. And is that a human nature thing that like we don't think about things until the absolute worst possible thing happens? Or like, why do we forget about those things? You said you struggled with
it. Struggling to answer as well. For me, a lot of it is when something becomes just like so routine or so second nature that I don't have to think about it. When I don't have to consciously think about taking the action to do something, I also lose the appreciation for it as well, because there's no chase, there's no struggle, there's no challenge in something you don't have to think about.
Ooh, that's a really good. Ooh. Now you got me thinking I might have to change my morning routine a little bit.
You should also like segment that piece out and use it as a promo.
Man, that's a really good point. That like, because I often forget how grateful I am for a lot of the sacrifices my wife has made for me to really throw myself into all of this.
Can I jump in quickly right there?
Yeah.
While it's on topic. It was the exact same for me and my now ex-girlfriend during my prep last year. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done what I did because I was also like quit my job and started building my business at the same time as prep. And I could not have done everything that I did without her. And I totally like fucked up on truly appreciating that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, you're right. And I think that's something that like everyone listening right now will be like, yep, I've done that. Like I have someone that I care for that like I've sort of taken advantage of and forgot about and have not, appreciated. And I think that goes for so many things in life. So what is something that like you recently have struggled with that where like you're like you realize you need to appreciate it and maybe you haven't fully said it out loud but can now?
Do you want to hear what my days typically look like?
Yeah.
These days? So I usually wake up. I aim to wake up at 6:30. doesn't always happen for whatever reason. Usually by 7:38, I'm out of bed. I'll go downstairs, I'll make coffee. I'll usually sit with my coffee and just kind of think for a bit, or I have the 5-minute journal app on my phone, which if I remember, I will do it. From there, like I'll mix up some greens, grab some water, and I'll probably knock out 2.5. I aim for 2.5 hours of like uninterrupted work, or more or less until I get hungry. I'll have my first meal, and then I'll either go out for coffee with a friend, I'll go for a walk, or I'll just go back to work depending on other people's schedules a bit. I'll eat sometime during the afternoon, and then I'll usually train around 5 or 6, come back home, eat, like tie off any loose ends I didn't finish that day, and then either watch a TV show like South Park or something and head to bed. Like that is, for me, that is a fucking awesome day, and I don't appreciate it because it happens day after day and I don't have to think about it anymore. And when I first started like diving into this whole online thing, that was what I wanted, was freedom. That was my biggest, like more than money, more than being able, basically like more than money or actually building a business. All I wanted was to be able to build my freedom. And now that I have that, I have to remind myself constantly to actually appreciate it and recognize it for what it is.
Yeah. Dude, you hit me right in the feels.
Right in the feels. And I know that sounds like I don't know, can come across as pretty douchey because like I can do what I want. For the most part, I don't have to worry about money these days, thankfully. And then to say that I don't appreciate that is, I mean, just saying that sounds kind of douchey to me, but it's tough when you have something that's, like I said, when you don't have to think about it, it loses its luster.
Yeah, no, dude, I think that's a very good point. I think it's so easy for us to get into, before we hopped on, one of the guys in our mastermind, Gavin McHale, had posted an article about like 2 country concerts that he'd gone to. Now, personally, when I meet him, I will have to let him know that I do not think those. Listen, country music today just.
Okay, who did he go to? Because I know he's from Canada.
Oh God, one of them was Miranda Lambert, and some other guy. I don't know, but it was a great article because like he started to learn to play guitar, and then he gave it up because he wasn't really into it, and he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing hits yet. He was still struggling, which I will tell you, to anyone who tries to play the guitar, it took me a year to like really get good of just going between G, C, and D. And I'm talking like the easy C, the C add 9, not even like the normal C. So if you play guitar, you know what I'm talking about. Like it took me a while, just that motor function and that learning. And the fact that when I first started playing, it was on a classical guitar. So the neck was a lot wider and I have very small hands. Never mind. I'm not making that joke.
I'll just let my laughter.
Yep. I was. You know what? Don't even care. I was going to make a self-deprecating joke, but I won't. Because nobody wants to hear that. I got clients who listen to this. But it was hard for me because I mean, a classical guitar is a lot wider. It's not a normal guitar. So it took me a while to learn, but he said when he was at the concert, I can't remember the guy who came on, not Luke Bryant. I don't know who it is. Some guy came on and he talked about how, it was interesting. He started to reflect and say, everyone down here in front, just so you know, like when I first started, I couldn't feel the pit in front of one of the bars I was playing at. Couldn't do it. It's depressing. It sucked. And now to be here with all of you, it's amazing to think like how far we've come. So I'm going to play you one of my old songs. So his real fans knew what the song was. Like they were into it. The newer fans were like, I don't know what's going on. I mean, it would be like for me, I would say going to a Dave Matthews concert, but there's enough people who are real big Dave fans. They would know the old shit. Like if you just pulled it out of nowhere. But that like he was very grateful that he had this old, these old songs he could play, and he nailed them. I mean, it was the best songs of the night. And then like Miranda Lambert comes out, plays like a new song that just wasn't there, like it just wasn't there because she didn't have the heart in it. She didn't write it.
No soul behind it.
Yeah, there was no soul behind it. But then when she sort of said, she kind of thought about it and said something and played an old song that meant something to her, he was like, it was one of the best songs like she could have played. And I think that's something that like we all, many times, everyone, not just you and I, everyone listening, like we forget where we've come from. And I have it with clients come all the time, and I'm sure you get it too. They're like, man, I don't know, man. I'm not motivated. I just don't have it. Things seem rough. And I'm like, dude, the best thing you can do right now is look at you 6 or 7 months before. Look how far you've come. Like if you lost 40 pounds in a year, go to the gym, pick up a 40-pound dumbbell and hold it over your head and be like, I beat this. This used to be on my body and I could have never picked this up. But now it's like, I'm holding this part of me that used to be a part of me over my head. Completely change your mindset.
And the cool part is that's not even a pound of fat a week. That's tiny changes from week to week that you don't really notice until you do look back over those 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months.
Yeah. Yeah. And like it's very easy for, and dude, I admit it as a business owner. Are you kidding me? As soon as I turned SideQuest Fitness on, I was like, all right, here we go. We're going to, nope, no one read that article. Hey, 17 people came to the site today. Woo. Google Analytics says they're from Russia. I don't know what that means. I have fans in Russia? What's going on in Russia? I don't know. Oh
now
my God,
I got my first client.
I got my first client. And then you're like Luke, who shot a TIE fighter, and like Han Solo's got to yell at you like, calm down, kid. Don't get cocky. And then that's just how it is. Like it's a long game. And I think it's hard go ahead.
You're quite literally building a beach by placing 1 grain of sand at a time.
Dude, that is the best analogy ever. Holy shit.
I'm on fire today.
But it's true. And I think that's like that, whatever your goal is, fat loss, muscle building a business, like finding the one true love that you have in your life, like those grains of sand happen to be a bunch of times you didn't get yes until you got a yes.
and those high points of your life, like where you really can like kind of blown away by what you've accomplished, are when you stop looking at the next grain of sand and turn around and see what the hell you've managed to build.
Oh my God, dude. So like whoever's listening right now, if you're struggling with something, I want you to think about that. Like what Alex just said, turn around and like wherever you are now is further than where you were in the past. Yes, you still have places to go, but like, my God, dude, Alex, you're on fire. You're on fire.
Monster, coffee, and nootropics. Secret recipe.
What's your Alpha Brain?
No, I just took 3 caps of Noopept.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Just for anyone who knows, nootropics are like a brain enhancer, sort of almost like what is it movie with
Limitless.
Sort of like Limitless, but less superhero powers.
Sadly.
Dude, if it was like Limitless, holy shit, that'd be awesome. Or just to have Bradley Cooper's face, let's be honest.
The hair.
And
the hair.
Oh my God, the hair.
I've been going for the hair. Give me your feedback in San Diego.
We'll dude, you know what's sad? All right, all right. After we just talk about like how far you've come and all this stuff, I'm now going to bring up the fact that I have gray hair and it depresses me. But however, redheads tend to they don't really go gray. They go white. And if I can go Roger Sterling, I'm all right.
When your hair goes white, you need to buy a robe and a staff.
Yes!
And post up on your front lawn and never leave.
You know what? Halloween would be amazing. Kids would come up and I would just literally stand there with my staff and be like, you shall not pass. The kids wouldn't get it. Their parents hopefully would.
And as long as you get it, that's what matters.
That's all that matters. Yes. I like it. Alex, what are you jamming to music-wise today?
So I'm just coughing up water over here.
Well, water's better than blood.
Music-wise, my music taste is, I find it quite comical. My library is all over the map. There's country, there's EDM, there's a little bit of punk, there's like heavy metal, there's hip-hop from everywhere from the 1970s up to now. It's quite the range. But I rarely listen to anything on my iPod unless I'm training. When I work, I seem to pick up a different obsession for anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. And right now I'm in a massive reggae phase.
All right.
So I've basically been going through the entire family tree of Marleys for the past 10 days.
Okay.
While I work, and it's been great. I'm not sick of it yet, and I have no idea what will come next. But before the Marley phase, it was the Katy Perry's "Chained to the Rhythm," like nothing but that.
All right, nothing wrong with that.
It was a great song. The best.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I want to talk about the reggae, about the Marley. You're doing like Bob, Ziggy, all of them?
It's been, who's it? I recently discovered Skip, who seems to be a newer one.
Yeah.
He's only got a couple songs, but I like him. There's Skip, a bit of Damien, Ziggy. I don't go to Bob so much just because I've been listening to him on and off for years that I don't really feel drawn to it anymore.
Right.
There's another one I found today. I think it was Julian. Okay. Julian Marley. Man, there's so many of them. Like, fuck, are they all related?
I would have to look that up. I would assume possibly.
Like, I mean, they are all great at singing reggae, and they all have the same last name. So I would assume, but at the same time, there's so many of them.
Yeah. It's like what the Jacksons wanted, but never really happened except for two.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I'm all up in the reggae these days.
Cool.
It's fun.
Cool. What's been your training this year in your first off season? What have you had to bring up? What was lagging behind? Like, and have you been successful at that?
I think you can answer that, can't you?
You look good. That's all I will say. You look thick.
To be competitive this year, I had to bring up my upper body big time. Between hockey and being, like a little loopy half the time, I thoroughly enjoy training legs. Like it was an 8-month period where I trained them 3 to 4 times a week, every single week.
All right.
So I was a little bit genetically blessed in the leg development department, but that also left my upper body lacking. So I had to, I only placed as well as I did last year, I think, because I had legs. Yeah. So, and now I'm prepping for nationals, and it's going to be a bit of a different ball game this year. So I had to bring up my upper body, and as far as I can tell, it's been quite a success.
The thickening, as you call it, I will say, on Instagram, you've put on some size in the back, dude.
It's I'm currently 22 pounds heavier than I was at this stage out last year.
All right.
So, and that's with a 6-month off season.
All right. How long's the cut this time? I mean, you got to shed down, those 22 pounds plus the pounds from before.
Well, honestly, I think I've probably added 15 pounds of tissue.
Okay.
Which is incredible. Well, I'm not sure how that happened, but I started actually dieting at around 20 weeks out, so 5 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was just small changes. I haven't really touched my nutrition the last couple of weeks. Starting to do a bit more cardio, and my training volume has come up as of this week. We'll see. Everything is responding quite well right now. I'm recovering super efficiently. I've been tracking that with morning heart rate and heart rate variability, which has been pretty cool to see. And things are going in the right direction.
Let's talk a little about heart rate variability. So one thing that I really love that Alex Piata put up one day, and it's kind of true. is that, most people tend to think that like the heart rate has to be, you got to keep the heart rate up, got to keep it up to lose fat. If that were the case, he was like, if that were the case, we all could just basically throw our face into a mound of cocaine, which would jack our heart rate up, and we would lose fat just by, doing coke. But, like, yes, that's part of it, but diet is also the big part of it. Also, your training and what you're doing. But there is some cool stuff of what you can do with heart rate variability. So what are some of those things, and what are you learning doing it?
Okay, I'm going to preface this with I am not an expert on heart rate variability by any means.
Nor is he a doctor or pretends to play one on the internet.
Sometimes I like to, but
That's only when he gets picked up for a casting call in Vancouver and they need Dr. Jacked. So
Dr. Quads. So I haven't spent a ton of time digging into it, but what I've been using it for just over a week now, and I've been using it to assess how well I'm recovering from training.
Okay.
Because as prep goes on, as food comes down, as activity goes up, your ability to recover is severely diminished.
Right.
And if you're pushing too hard when you're not recovering very well, you're going to end up looking like flat and stringy, basically. And so, like, sidebar, the thing with bodybuilding is that it's about looking as best as you possibly can for about half an hour on a single day out of the entire year, which is not easy to do.
Right.
And so it's more so than like picking a day and just trying to be as lean as possible on it. You're trying to look as good as you can all around. And to do that, you can't always be pushing as hard as you can, especially for like 20 weeks straight. So by assessing heart rate variability, my morning resting heart rate, and a few other recovery metrics, my coach and I are able to make better decisions, more accurate decisions about when to push extra hard and when to pull back a little bit.
So if you wake up and your heart rate is a little too high, like above your normal resting heart rate, you would pull back on training a little bit.
I don't know, the app I've been using spits out a morning readiness score. I'm not sure how it calculates it, and I should probably do a little bit more reading on it now that I think about it. But it's basically like a number from 1 to 10. Obviously, 1 being like you probably shouldn't get out of bed today, and 10 go on like lift up a house.
Yeah. And
I've consistently been around 7 to 8, which it's pretty good. My coach was actually a little surprised with how high it was, I think, the first time I told him. So things are in a good place recovery-wise right now, and I'm already not eating a ton of food, so I'm pretty pleased with that.
All right. Yeah, I want to run a ton of these tests on myself just to see, because I am curious. But that involves buying equipment and things, and
it's a $55 heart rate monitor is what it is. That's all.
Well,
it cost me $100 because fucking Canada.
Because Canada.
But yeah.
Because Canada. All right. So
like this morning,
go ahead.
This morning, I think my readiness was an 8 out of 10, which is perfect because I got legs tonight. And I've trained the last 3 days and done 2 sessions of cardio. So I was kind of expecting it to drop a little bit just with all that activity, but it hasn't. So good things. All right.
How do you think it's going to affect your prep in these last 20 weeks?
Knowing like my heart rate?
Yeah, right. So versus last year, do you think that any of the issues you ran into last year, I mean, you're still going to run into some of those because you're trying to lose as much body fat as possible. But do you think it will make it easier? Like, will it give you better guidance?
I think it will absolutely give us better guidance. And like I said, it will help make decisions of when to push hard and when to pull back. So like right now it would be a good time for me to push the weight a bit, like do a bunch of cardio and really see how much I can get done this far out while I'm recovering well.
Right.
And then as it starts to drop, kind of ease up on training volume, maybe pull back cardio or go have a refeed meal or something like that. Also, I haven't had a free meal in like 5 weeks already, so I'm ready for sushi.
I was going to say San Diego, baby, San Diego. But awesome. Well, Alex, we're closing in on the last few minutes here before we go into the DLC episode. So, guys, make sure you head over to sidequestfitness.com/DLC. Put your email address in, absolutely free. I am not EA or Ubisoft asking you to give me money. Absolutely free. I want you to get this awesome content because Alex and I are going to nerd out on some really cool stuff like coffee and more coffee. Yeah, so make sure you head over to sidequestfitness.com/DLC and get the DLC to your mailbox. Alex, anything you want to leave the listeners with, or anything you want to wind down the show with?
Just remember that whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, it's just little grains of sand and you're building a beach. And don't forget to stop and turn around from time to time.
I love it. It's a sandcastle, one speck of sand at a time. One speck of sand at a time. Just build that sandcastle away from the water. Because nothing worse than tide coming in. Sorry, there I am derailing your like really good spiritual moment. And my first two things were, one, don't make sure there's no bratty kid around to come kick your sandcastle in. Because
build your shit on dry land and put a fence around it.
Just build the sandcastle in your house. Just get sand delivered to your house and build it in your office. Which, by the way, quick note: I did a show in college called Psycho Beach Party, where I had to wear a Speedo on stage. And
this sounds lovely.
This was before Robbie was jacked. That photo is on Facebook, and it's terrifying. It did, however, get me my first girlfriend because I had to wear a Speedo, and I think she liked what she saw. Look at that. I made 2 jokes about my dick in this episode. I'm going to get so many emails from people who are going to be like, I can't believe, Robbie, too much. Too much dick. You might as well just swing it around while you're at it. I mean, I'm not wearing pants. Oh, there goes my secret about podcasts. So I had to wear the Speedo, and we wanted to feel like a beach, so we had sand. They trucked sand into the theater space that the show was in. And it was in this small black box. And if you don't know what a black box is, no, it's not like the thing in an airplane. It's basically just... the black box was maybe 1,000 square feet for the whole building, and then the actual plane space for the theater could change and be whatever you wanted it to be. So it was maybe 500 square feet, maybe 400 square feet, probably less, probably a lot less. So we had sand, and like people sat on beach towels in the sand as we were doing the show. They even like 3 years after I graduated, they still found sand.
I was gonna say, how
building.
Pissed off was the janitor?
Well, no, we had to shovel the sand out, and put it in a truck and then take it somewhere else. Gave it to someone.
Back to the beach,
dude. It was awful. It was getting it in sucked and then shoveling it in and then raking it over and trying to make it look like sand and then having to do a show where basically I'm in a Speedo, so there's sand in my ass crack and in my balls the entire time I'm delivering lines. Yeah. Crazy ridiculous. Good times though. Good times. So Alex, thank you again for coming on. And guys, make sure you get the DLC, sidequestfitness.com/DLC, and listen to Alex and I geek out on coffee. And make sure you head over and check out Alex's website, Massthetics, MASSTHETICS.com, right?
.net.
.net. Damn it, who has the .com?
I don't think anybody does. Or no, someone has it, but there's nothing on it.
And they want to pay. They want you to pay $10,000 for it.
I didn't even ask because I just assumed. Also, it might have been bought. There's that powerlifting Massthetics crew. They might have bought it.
Gotcha.
And I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, Massthetics.net. I'll have links for all that as well. And Massthetics on all the social platforms as well. So make sure you head over there. Alex, thank you again for coming on.
Happily, my pleasure. I'd love to do it again.
Step up and you gotta get it fitness. Host Rob at the moment and the quest is you gotta check it and wreck it. You're breaking personal records, and with the help of the guests you won't be guessing on the lessons. That's a +5 fierce. Got a low-key bamf right here. You wanna meet him, there's no better way to greet him than to strike a boss pose. Take a look into the mirror.